Hello, everyone, and welcome to In Our Community. Today, I am your host, and I'm also your guest. We are going to be talking about Zen. We've been doing these shows now we've done 2 shows so far. This will be show number 3. I really try to overlap some of the material. Like when we start today, we're going to talk about being and about the things you're passionate about, how you could transform your life through being more attentive to them, and some other more ineffable, which means can't be described by words, some more ineffable traits as well. I'm hoping you have a good life. I'm trying to make all of our lives better. And I also hope you can move toward awareness. So these are my thoughts about that. Let me get right into the material because it goes by very fast. So I do turn my head, I do read from a document, and then I talk about the document. And the first part I'm going to do a little bit fast. And let me turn on my timer. First part I'm going to do a little bit fast because we went over it in number 2. You can find all these on the YouTube channel for the TL television station called KMVT 15. Their website is kmvt15.org. And it's a wonderful place. I've been there 23 years doing shows. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let me pull up my document that I want to read from. And I'm going to not only read from it, but do some commenting as well. The first topic is being. We've already covered it in number 2, but we'll go over it a little bit fast. Let us look at practices that help one become more experiential, such as doing things that you are most passionate about. Being is very powerful and wonderful. It is not easily realized. When you do things that you're passionate about, it goes into your heart in a way that most other things do not. And so, if you really pay closer attention to the things you love, number one, it's probably easier for you to pay attention to things you love than it is to learn about everything all at once. So I'm using this as a kind of a template or a metaphor. Pick something that you already love very much and pay closer and closer and closer attention to it. Not only will your experience of it deepen, but you'll start to notice other parts of your life. You'll start to notice other parts of your life in a way that you did not before. So it's kind of like I like the word ineffable, which means you cannot describe it in words. And the other component that will happen when you pay attention is ineffable. If I talk about it, ineffability and awareness, in the deepest, best way I know, it would not make sense to you at all. Let me give you an example. I just said it is not easily realized. That sentence presupposes that there is somebody over there with you being you and me, who can do something, namely doing something to become realized. There is no one over there to realize anything. And this is the deeper part of Zen. There is no one over there to realize anything. There is something that I call beingness, or just being. There are no words that do justice to the subject of being. I'm going to just change it all later. The actual truth cannot be spoken. We have to have some words to use. So let's use being or beingness for now. That which comes and goes is experience. That which does not come and go is being. I do not mean just what comes and goes in your life. I mean what has ever come and gone. Now, I think this is hard to grasp. That's my opinion. We have experience. Our experience comes and goes. That's impermanent. That's not permanent. It comes and goes and comes and goes. I'm talking about something that is permanent throughout the universe, that is more permanent than time. And that something is awareness. And I'm using a phrase that Adyashanti used. I was a student of his for probably 10 years or more. So, for example, the earth is experience. History is experience. You, in the expression you are now as a human being, are experience. And there is something else that you are, and that something else is awareness or beingness. Dogen called it the blue sky. Dogen is a famous Zen teacher from the 1200s, 13th century, and he started a big branch of Zen called Soto Zen, kind of Zen that I practice. Dogen called it the blue sky. The blue sky is always there. It is always changing, and it's always the same. It's always changing, and it's always the same. The blue sky. Dogen Zenji is the father of Soto Zen, kind of Zen that I am particularly fond, of which I am particularly fond. The truth is there is nothing and there is everything. Blue sky. It's always there, it's always permanent, and it's always changing. At the same time, the paradox. And you are that. You are the blue sky. You are like the blue sky. I am that. We are that. That's a true statement, but comes from Nisargadatta. He wrote a book called I Am That. And Nisargadatta is an Indian guru. You are that right now, and perhaps you do not realize it. You are awareness. You are being. Over and above your humanness, your being in the universe, like this, every moment. Perhaps you think you are a person walking around the planet with a lot of problems in body and attitudes. All of that will keep you stuck. Now, are you a person? Yes, you're a person. In the regard of your small self as a person. But bigger than that, you're something else. I could use the word spiritual, but it probably gets in the way. But that's something that you are, that we each are, is awareness. We are awareness, which is why I think it's important that we all become more aware as humans on the path to becoming, noticing we are awareness. Fully noticing your awareness is probably a kind of enlightenment. Although that word too has been overused and gets people stuck. Okay, now we're going to talk about inspiration. This is, I just stopped the review. We did the review already. I'm going to talk about inspiration. I am here to inspire you, but I'm not here to inspire you to do something. Now, having said that, will your way of doing things, your ability to do things improve? Probably so. My real opinion is yes, they will. But number one, I can't promise that for every single person. And number two, You have to stay with Zen or TM or yoga, whatever you're doing. You have to stay with it for a while, and I'm talking years, in order to get these kind of results, in my opinion. There is something called sudden enlightenment, but it's not very common, in my opinion. Most of this is my opinion. I mean, I've learned from teachers, but I'm a student and a teacher at the same time. I'm much more a student than a teacher. I'm just uh, stepping back out into the teacher realm. So I am here to inspire you. I'm not here to inspire you to do something. You don't have to change your career, buy certain stocks, or run out and buy a new car, or change your relationships. I am here for a more nurturing and caring reason, a reason that will support you immensely in everything you do, and yet not be difficult to understand. You cannot do this act of being inspired by your intellect. So, this thing I'm calling being goes beyond your everyday thing that we do, the walking around with thoughts, the having emotions, the oh my God, this and oh my God, that drama. You cannot do this act of being inspired being inspired by using your intellect. You have to use a more spiritual side of yourself. I am here to inspire you simply to be. That's the way you get there, is you be. You learn how to be. You learn to pay more attention. You learn to be in the moment, be in the moment, be in the moment, be in the moment. We usually have our heads in the thoughts, yesterday, tomorrow. What's my daughter doing? Is my son getting a divorce? Is my wife pregnant? We worry about everything except this exact moment. What does that mean, simply to be? It means rest. Okay, this is where it gets a little easier. Just be. I'll tell you what, I'll keep talking as though I am giving a speech, and you can just rest. You don't have to sit up straight in your chair. You don't have to listen to me more carefully or intently, although you may find yourself doing that. If you let go of efforting, struggling, when you resist something, like you're resisting, you're trying to make yourself listen more carefully, you're resisting just relaxing, and that struggle will persist. What you resist persists. Okay. Just be in your chair right now, or whatever you're doing. You might be sitting in a chair. Being just as you are is a very natural state. Some people say it is our most natural state of all, and for most of us, it is one we are very unfamiliar with. So just be. It does not feel particularly inspiring, perhaps, when you begin the practice of being. It does not feel particularly inspiring. It feels messy. Your mind's going 1,000 miles a minute. That's okay. I'm not talking about the kind of inspiration where you want to run out and do something, such as make up for a promise you didn't keep. You don't have to run out and do something. I'm talking about resting. I'm talking about not doing, just resting in your chair right now at this one moment. You'll have plenty of time to do things later in life. Don't worry. You really will. As soon as you stop watching this, or if you even turn this off, you can go out and start doing things. Mow the lawn, bake a potato, you know. Do you notice who it is that you carry around with you almost everywhere you go? And what the hell am I talking about? There is something inside of you deeper than a person. It is awareness. Adyashanti calls it awareness. I call it being. And your being underneath your humanness is there all the time. You carry it around with you all the time. We're very unfamiliar with this concept. I want you to know something. I want you to share with you so that you can come to know this sense in your muscles and your bones. You are very important, and everything you do is important. You even as a person, everything you do is important, and you are very important. You deserve to be here. What you're doing in life is important. You're trying to do your best. You're helping your kids. You're making sure your marriage is running smoothly. You're working at a job. Okay. You are important and wonderful enough to make some amount of time during your day, each of your days, just to rest and maybe go out and buy flowers. I honor you. I honor you. It's a privilege to be talking to you. And this is, I'm not gonna mess around here. What I'm trying to say is learn to rest. And in my experience, that rest can become a precursor to picking some kind of meditation and doing it. But if you can't get yourself to do any kind of meditation, just sit in a chair for 10 minutes a day and not do anything. And then maybe make it 15. The most common way to do it is about 40 minutes, but I do not expect you to do 40 minutes in the beginning. I don't. I honor you. Attentiveness. This is about paying attention in life. That's how you get to know awareness of your being, which is also just awareness itself. Attentiveness. Sometimes I don't want to be in the moment I'm in. I don't want to be in the moment I'm in. I would rather be in some other moment, or I would rather that the moment I am in be some other way. Now, usually when people ask me about being in the moment, I say, slow down. Be in the moment you're in. And actually, hurrying up all the time, doing 12 things at once, and I'm guilty of it too, even today, doesn't really get you the depth of experience that you want. It gets things done, but it doesn't get the depth of experience that leads to wisdom. Listening to your life causes wisdom. One of the few principles that I've come up with originally is listening cultivates wisdom. Listening cultivates wisdom. And I have another class that I teach about that called BLSD. We'll talk about that some other time. Okay. Usually when people ask me about being in the moment, I say, slow down, be in the moment you are in. This idea of being in the moment you are in, be in the moment you're in, is a beginner's training ground. It's also a very advanced place, but it's a good place for beginners, in my opinion. Let's take the next step. Now, if you're ready to take the next step, we will. There is something deeper. Remember, we said the other thing was a training ground. We're going to take the next step. There is something deeper. There is some aspect of slowing down, and what usually comes with it, calming down, can be carried with you even if you are moving fast. So if a person is, I don't have another way to say this, and I'm just a guy from Ohio. So I'm just going to say it in my own way. People who are spiritually aware can be moving fast and be very calm inside. That's what martial arts are about. That's what fencing is about. That's what gymnastics is about. You're doing something very fast and you're very calm. If you watch a really good quarterback like Brock Purdy last year, he would sit, and he was a rookie, I think. He'd sit in the pocket, he would look around, he'd throw the ball, and it would be successful more often than not. That's the calmness that I'm looking for you to have. It's a gift from the universe, not from me. It's from the universe. And it will help you. It'll be a benefit. If you're looking for benefits, that would be one. It will pay dividends later. If you wish this particular moment to be other than it is, that can go on as it does, as it wants to. So if you want this moment to be different, great. But that moment's going to go on in the way that it does. Even if that way that it does is you changing something, it's still the way it is. Things are the way they are. Somewhere below that, behind that, we can accept the moment just as it is. So there is a place in our experience. I'll say in our experience. It goes a little beyond experience, but somewhere in our experience, there is the ability to accept the moment the way it is. And like I say, even if you are choosing something different and making the moment change, that's still the moment. That's still the moment. Somewhere below that thing of calming down, behind that, we can accept the moment just as it is. And calming down is like a doorway to it. There is good news. You do not have to give up even the drama of the moment the way it is. You don't have to give it up. You can experience it. You do not have to be different. See, this is what I call mistakenly, probably, the magic of Zen. You don't have to do something. Just be. Just be. Now, meditation will help you doing just be. And it can be, yoga, TM, something else, Nisargadatta, Zen. I don't care. You do the one you want. I'm talking about Zen, but I want you to do what you want. You don't have to be different. Okay? It's just very plain to say. All right, we've run out of time. I'm going to stop this thing. I like that sound. I like to play it on the air. It's delightful, and it tells me unmistakably that we're done. We're way done. So I want to thank you for being here. I love you guys with all my heart. I am trying my darndest to make a contribution in life. I'm a disabled person, so it means a lot to me to make a contribution. This has been In Our Community. I'm your host, Marc Isaac Potter, and your guest, Marc Isaac Potter. And you're wonderful, and I want to see you next time if you feel like it. Take care. I love you. Namaste.